Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.5 SE manual. It's one of these Mark V's, really good looking car, finished in black. The car's covered just 36,900 miles. As you'd expect, it's in lovely condition, very well looked after car, both cosmetically and mechanically. Going around the car for you, new style front end looks really good on these cars. Lights and lenses clear, intact, there's no cracks or condensation. Bonnet, very clean indeed. Can't see any obvious stone chips. Near side, lovely and smooth in the panel work. That front alloy, very good as well. It's literally just been washed off, it hasn't been polished, but it's got a very natural clean to the paintwork on this one. Inside rear alloy again, really nice. Going around the back, quite a handsome beast, these things. Again, all very clean. The offside, driver's side, again, beautifully smooth in the panel work there, really clean. Offside rear alloy, again, lovely. Front alloy, again, absolutely superb. It really is it's in fantastic condition. Let's come to the boot area of the car. Absolutely enormous boots in the CR-Vs, and it's been kept in very nice condition back here as well. Coming to the back, wide opening rear doors, simply enormous amounts of leg room, and front seats are set for me, and I'm 6 foot tall, so not cheating, and it's in very good condition for what is a family car. Coming to the front and the passenger side, again, all very clean and tidy. Full set of original Honda mats in the car. Finally comes to the driver's door card, again very clean and tidy. Some of the footwell areas there, driver's seat, very nice condition as well. So inside the car now, engine's running as always, so the dash is illuminated. Really lovely interiors on these cars. Sat nav, as you can see, working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse and rear parking camera, which complements the front and rear parking sensors on the car. Coming down, it's just been kept in really lovely condition. Into my dash pinnacle there, hopefully you can see 36,940 miles. There's no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's operating. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.5 turbo, and it's the SE model, registered PE68VJG, or VGJ rather. Mileage at the start of the road test is 36,873. The reason we do these videos, and actually especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car actually in operation. We've always felt it important, mostly because, like lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out, unfortunately, that there's an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car, which can be hugely frustrating. We also do it on these very quiet country roads, beautiful part of Gloucestershire. And this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is, of course, it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, it's been extraordinarily well looked after. All of the servicing, right up to the one we've just done, has been done by the Honda main dealers. So you can expect it to drive well, and it doesn't disappoint in any way. Going through the car, starting with the engine, twist the key, engine starts instantly and settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car for that matter. Temperature gauge running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle as well. Engine's a fantastic unit. It's very smooth and quiet on the move. It's cam chain driven, there's no cam belts to worry about. But it's just such a pleasure to drive and use. It's sort of docile, it's tractable, but when you put your foot down, you've got a nice sort of snarl from the engine, but it picks up and goes very well indeed. Don't think because it's only a 1.5 rather, that it's not going to give you enough performance. It definitely does. But yeah, fantastic unit, really is. Engine then feeds into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car, light, smooth, positive. Bike pointed exactly where it's meant to be. And the gearbox itself, I always say the CRVs particularly, because it's lots of little things. It's not just the quality of the gear change, which is always good on Hondas. It's the positioning of the gear lever, the angle where it goes into the dashboard. So when you're changing gear, you've got this lovely plane angle of sort of actuation, which is just a very natural feel. The gear lever falls straight to hand as well. The gear change though is lovely. It's got a meaty, high quality feel to it. It's satisfying to use. It feels robust, but not heavy in any way. The actual selection, the synchromesh is beautifully done, as Honda always do. They always do good gearboxes, and this, feels as it would have done when it was new. It's just got a zero wear in it, which you wouldn't expect. With hundreds of thousands of miles on, they'll feel like this. In all honesty. Then coming to the steering and chassis, and as a conversation recently with a chap about CRVs and talking about them from the incarnation to where they are now, and I think the jump from the Mark IV to the Mark V, this one, is the biggest single jump they've made on a CRV, mostly revolving around just how it feels on the road. It's so smooth and comfortable. The steering is beautiful, it's linear, it's beautifully weighted, it's positive and accurate. And as I say in all CRV videos, these are not sports cars. They're not meant to sort of get your pulse racing in the way they drive. But that's not to say it's dull to drive. It isn't. It's a very, very pleasant car for what it's designed to do, which is to ferry you and probably family around comfortably. And it does it wonderfully well. So when you turn in, you've got really precise steering. The weighting's beautiful on it. It also, by the way, tracks dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to legal limit, actually. And then the biggest difference between this and the last one is definitely the ride. It's so comfortable and composed. It's initially when you get into them, you feel, it's not going to be able to go through corners. It feels almost too soft in a way. But when you do go through corners, it's incredibly capable. You put them in, and it'll sort of lean a little bit as they're meant to do, but not a lot. That's the thing. It's so well controlled, so you don't get that lots of body motion which you get in lots of the competitors' cars, and that can be hugely nauseating, particularly for rear seat passengers who might have their head in I'd say hopefully a book, but in all probability a phone of some description. The suspension, by the way, going over this section of road, which is awful, rides it beautifully well, but noticeably, by not noticing anything, there's no clonks, no rattles, nothing from underneath the vehicle. It's absolutely wonderfully solid, this car. We're just going to give the brakes a bit of a shove, but they are fantastic. Again, the brakes on this generation is superb. The servo is powerful, very confidence inspiring. There's no pulsing, no vibrations coming back through the brake pedals, so all in fine order. And then we come inside, and another very high quality Honda interior. No squeaks, no rattles, beautifully put together, beautifully designed. Huge amount of interior space, front and rear and boot. Nothing, there's not a compromise, in any of those areas. But it's really nicely laid out. It feels quite modern in here. I've got one of these, so this is busman's holiday for me, jumping to this. It's, the wood, what there is fairly minimal, but actually does break up the interior, but tastefully done. Sat nav, simple, easy to use Garmin-based system. Then you've got dual zone climate control system as well, and that you can have different temperatures side to side if you really want to, and that pumps out lovely cold air. As I always say, Hondas, when you get into them, if you turn anything or press a button, you can be greeted with a kind of a high quality feel to all of the switch gear, and it's got substance to it as well, by the way, because it's you know, they feel like that after hundreds of thousands of miles of, you know, of use. But you know, it's satisfying to know that, you know, if they put that much effort into one little button, the rest of the car they've obviously taken care of it, and they certainly have. Their dash binnacle in front. You got sort of digital display for your speed there. It's neatly laid out. I'm old school, I'm going to be honest with you. I shouldn't say this, but because this is opinion, I prefer old analog dials, but you know, that's because I'm archaic. But you know, I've got one, and I actually, after a week or two of driving it, you get used to it all very quickly. There's not too much information, which is quite nice actually. I just prefer the layout optically for other systems, the way they used to do it. But by modern standards, this is really good. Then you've got this lovely leather-bound steering wheel, which feels great in hand. You've got cruise control, and it's the auto cruise control with radar, so it varies your speed. If there's traffic, it'll slow you down and speed you up. You've got lane mitigation, all these sort of safety things in the car. You know, the point of the video, it's only a brief one, it's literally just to show the car on the move, driving, feedback on any issues. There's nothing. Awful road car, used car cliche is to say a car drives like new, but here comes a cliche, it literally drives like new.